All right, good morning. Happy, first of all, that we're off to a good start this week because Brent Venables remembered Julie Venables' birthday, which is today. So happy birthday to Julie Venables today. And so we're off to a better start because last year he forgot. And so we're ahead of the game this week. But biggest thing, really just reiterate, hey, I'm very happy and excited that our team's 2-0. That's the objective. We certainly, at this point, wanted to be 2-0, and that's where we are. And excited about another opportunity to play at home this week. Always, great to get back again here at home. We appreciate every one of these opportunities. It's like I tell our team every week, literally every week to me is a season of its own. And you learn from that season each and every week. I don't ever look at the totality of it. I look at 1 week, one bite at a time. And looking at the first 2 games, I think there's a lot of positives. I mean, a bunch of individual performances that have been excellent. Bunch of improvement in some areas. Some guys that are playing at a high level for us, but there's no question we got a lot of areas that we got to improve in if we're going to reach our potential, as a team. So, but at the end of the day, it's about winning, and we've been able to do that. Again, another opportunity this week to see if we can improve. South Carolina State, always talk about Buddy Pugh. He's one of my favorite people. His son works here for us in the compliance department, does a great job. And this is a football team, just like, most teams out there, that they got some dudes. They got some players, and everybody does. I don't care who it is. Everybody's got some players. And if you don't show up and you're not ready and you make mistakes and you do stupid things, like take touchdowns off the board, and then you put yourself in jeopardy. So this is a football team. When you look at their offense, they got a good quarterback. He leads them in rushing as well. He's a savvy guy, got good instincts. Their left tackle is an NFL player, a guy we signed or recruited, and ended up having to go to a different route. But he's a 6'7" guy that there'll be a lot of scouts watching this game, a lot of scouts watching this tape. To watch the matchup with that left tackle against our defensive end. So very good football player. And they got a bunch of skill guys. Defensively, their 2 best players are number 10 and 34. 10 is Anthony Waters' brother. We had him in camp and knew we were close on him. And he's what we thought he would turn out to be. He's a long, athletic kid that brings good pressure off the edge. 34 is a very productive player, a little bit like Jalen Williams. He's just a guy that doesn't quite have maybe some of the measurables, but he is a really good football player that shows up on tape. And then on the back, they're young up front, very young and inexperienced up front, freshman D tackles, but very experienced on the back end, all seniors and juniors. So, again, for us, it's just, trying to clean up execution, trying to get better. And that's what I'm looking for this week, just looking for our best game and trying to get to 3-0. Any questions?
Coach, obviously unfortunate to lose Hunter Renfro, but it seems like that's the one unit in which you could afford a loss right now.
Well, we've got good depth there, but we got to play better at that position. That's definitely the most underachieving position on our team right now. And we got to get better. We got to perform better. We've got to do little things better. And it's not just the obvious things where you see a guy drop a ball. It's a lot more than that. And the good news is we will get better because this is a very competitive group, guys that have done it, and, just a matter of being focused like they need to be and the proper attention to details. And so, yeah, we're fortunate that we do have some depth there. Artavis will slide in, and he and Ray will they'll play the 2 and the 5, and Travion, he has not taken advantage of his opportunity the first 2 games. Much better player. Travion is man, it's unfortunate because he had a great camp, had a really good summer, a really good spring, and then all of a sudden you got to take advantage of the opportunities, and so he doesn't get the opportunity to move up because he hadn't earned it, but he'll still have an opportunity to respond and see if he can be who I know he is, and then Cornell. Cornell's going to be a great player. That's why we recruited him. And so opportunity for him to get in the mix a little bit more. He's a dynamic player. He's a guy that, regardless of whether anybody got hurt or not, you were going to see him more and more as we go through the course of the season as that kid gets settled in. But, we'll be fine. We'll be fine there. So I hate it for Hunter, and because, we went the other night, he was going to still be able to play. And not miss any time, and it was a situation they were going to fix it after the season. But then, and really, if it was any other position, he would play. But then, because he could catch the ball, but the problem was being able to, tuck the ball because you're going to kind of lose that being able to bend the wrist like that. So, and it wasn't separated. There was a slight crack. So I was just going to the best thing to do is just go ahead and put the screw in there, and get him back. Here in a few weeks. So hate that, but at least we won't have to deal with it after the season, and he'll be able to come back and finish up strong for us.
Coach, so much for that adage. Your biggest improvement usually between week 1 and week 2. You've actually, I would submit, took a step back this past week. Is there a simple explanation, or is this a matter of turning on the switch and
Yeah, well, I think we have been pretty consistent defensively outside of horrendous 5 minutes of football to finish the game when we get up 17. Other than that, we've had some very consistent performances on defense. You can't paint with a broad brush. It's so easy to do that. I have to look at everything, and there's a lot of good things going on. A lot of good things. I love what we're doing in kickoff coverage. I love what we're doing in punt return, despite taking a touchdown off the board. But all those things matter. We're just not executing cleanly. We did a great job on first down. I think we averaged 5.1 yards on first down. Our goal is 50% of the time to average 4 yards or more, and we were 4 yards or more 50% of the time. We hit our goal. I look at the quality control. I look at our what it takes chart and things that and we're doing a lot of good things. And again, you average 5.1 yards on first down. We just can't get in rhythm because we can't catch the ball right now. And that affects everything. And it's really as simple as that. When we pitch and catch a little better, everything else will be better. It's not really any more complicated than that. It would be more complicated if we couldn't get open, if we couldn't block people, if plays weren't there, things like that. So right now it's just a matter of us cleaning up the execution and getting the focus the way it needs to be. And when that happens, then all the rest of it will come together. It'll be just fine.
Is catching the ball a contagious thing?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. I think it's just, we just haven't had the intensity that we need. It's a matter. Intensity brings about concentration and attention to details. And, we've been poor in spots, been really good at times. But, we're a 50-50 group right now. And you can't be 50-50 at that position. And again, because it affects, it's just like the offensive line. Their entire joy in life is to see the chains move. They get to run 10 more yards or 20 yards because we made a play. And so it's frustrating. And that's kind of what I challenge those receivers on. Hey, I'm going to put you in there at running back and let you pick up that Ben Boulware blitzing through there like Wayne Gallman and them have to do. Put you at left guard. Everybody has a job to do. And, right now we can't get in rhythm because we're so inconsistent in our execution. And then it just kind of affects other things. But it's a 2 games. We've played 2 games. But I tell you, I have an appreciation for winning. And that's what I told our team. I ain't ever going to be a guy that don't appreciate winning. And I don't ever want to be a part of a program that doesn't appreciate winning. Because it's hard. It's hard to win. And at the end of the day, It's how you respond. It's how you handle adversity. And it's unfortunate that we went to sleep at the wheel defensively, and give them some credit. Man, those kids are playing their butts off, and they're fighting and scratching and trying to win a ball game, and they got some good players. I tried to tell y'all, Troy's got some guys. This is going to be nobody wants to listen to that. Nobody wants to give the other team any credit. I told you last week, this football team right here is pretty good. Well coached, buttoned up, knew what they were doing. And when you drop touchdowns, you just throw a ball on the ground and take touchdowns off the board. Instead of a 17-point lead, you got a 24, 31-point lead. And then when you go to sleep defensively with 5 minutes to play with a 17-point lead. So all the stuff, at the end of the day, what our offense did those last 3 drives is something positive to build on, because it was really the way it's supposed to be. So I was very proud of that. Touchdown, field goal. Very good rhythm. And, so hey, it's all about getting better. And I appreciate how they fought through the adversity. I appreciate how they hung in there and found a way to win the game. Those are all great things that I value, because I've done this a long time. I know how hard it is to win, and to win consistently, and especially to win when you're not playing well. That's really hard to do. So we got it done, and then you come in here and you celebrate that, and you come in here on Monday and it's get right day. And that's what yesterday was, get our mind right. And I love how our team responded. Very open, very candid, very honest. Everybody understands what we got to do. We're on the same page. Onward.
Were you surprised with what Deshaun said yesterday? And
No, not surprised. I talked to Deshaun, and I think it's just him being a leader. First of all, he don't owe anybody an apology. He don't owe anybody an apology. But that's just, I think him being a leader and trying to maybe deflect a little bit. But he's the least of my worries.
You told us that he and some of the guys he felt like they weren't having as much fun out there, and they needed to learn how to have fun.
You don't have fun when you don't play well.
How do you draw the line between having fun and being ultra focused on details?
I don't know. That sounds so simple. Well, let's go have fun. First of all, the fun's in the winning. If you ain't having fun winning, wait till you lose a couple. Then let's do that interview. All right? That's all a bunch of stuff to write about in the paper. We ain't playing well. And when guys aren't playing well, not playing to the standard that everybody knows that they're capable of, it's frustrating. Because you know why? Because there's pride in performance here. These young men have pride in their performance. But that's one of the things that I loved about that locker room Saturday. Loved it. And I was very anxious to see how the locker room was going to be after the game. And it was awesome to see them celebrate. It was awesome to see them, celebrate the win. And I love that. That's what it's all about. Yes, we got a lot of crap we got to fix. We got to clean up. We got some guys that can play better, play their potential. All right? But that will come. And when it does, man, it's amazing how the fun happens. It's amazing. When those chains are moving, there's a lot more fun going on.
did Deshaun speak to the team yesterday in maybe the same terms?
No, he talks to his guys. I mean, we all talk as a team. We all sit in here. We like I said, yesterday was a get your mind right day. Get everybody on the same page day. Offense, defense, everybody in here together. Here's the reality. All right? Let's go to work.
The last 4 games, we've seen Christian Wilkins play a lot of different roles. He's caught a pass from a punter. He's moved from D-end to D-tackle. He caught a touchdown this past week. Where did all that originate to see he's so much more than just a defensive end? And have we seen the last little addition to what he can do?
We don't start catching the ball, might put him in the slot. You never know. Never know. He's just a player, man. I mean, he's a great player. It originated in his DNA at birth. He's just a gifted guy with a great spirit that loves to play, loves to work, loves to grind. incredibly confident in what he does. And, as we watched him all last year and we had him on the punt team and I'm watching him, I mean, he's just running around. He's staying flat-footed into a backflip. He was a great basketball player in high school. And he's 300-plus pounds and can move. So it was just, really nothing more than that, just trying to take advantage of the people that you got. And certainly with the play that he made in the Orange Bowl, just kind of lit even more of a fire into his skill set and, other things that he potentially can do. And then when we got Big Dex in here, and you watch him move and you watch his athleticism, you got, almost 700 pounds right there that we're like, you know what, let's take advantage of this. So we just created a little package, and that's it.
Marcus Edmond made his return on Saturday. How do you evaluate his performance?
He did good. He did good. Was proud of him. I think he played 30-something snaps, I believe, but I was pleased with him. It was good to see him back out there and getting back in the rhythm of things. Big to have him back.
What does Clemson get out of FCS games each year?
What does Clemson get? We get opportunity to, just like anytime you cross the lines, opportunity to get your football team better. Same thing we're going to get when we play Georgia Tech next week, chance to get our team better. Same thing we had when we opened up with Auburn, chance to go play the game. You get 12 of them. I think it's great. I think it's great for that level. I think it's great for this state. I think it's great for those kids to have an opportunity to come and play the big boys, if you will, and to get to play on a stage like we have here at Death Valley. I think it's great for the budgets, the bottom line for that level, because a lot of those teams would go away if they didn't have the opportunity, to share the wealth a little bit. And so I think it's great. And South Carolina State, heck, this is their third game in a row, playing Division I opponents. So they'll probably be happy to see Florida A&M next week, and get into the league play and all that stuff. But I think it's great. Again, a lot of those kids maybe didn't have opportunity to come to Clemson, but here's a chance to go and match up. It's like that left tackle. It's huge for him. I mean, this is an NFL prospect, and now all of a sudden he gets an opportunity to compete against a Christian Wilkins, a Cleveland, for some, Clemson-type guys, and I think it's great for him. It's great. It's a measuring stick for a lot of those young men, and for us, it's another game. It's another opportunity to get better as a football team, to try to play well. And that's because it's not whether we're playing South Carolina State or Florida State, and y'all don't like to hear that, but it's the same to me. We don't practice any different. We don't meet any different. It's exactly the same. I just want to see our team play well and just try to want to know that week.
The majority of your time as an assistant, Clemson did not play as many of the FCS teams. Was that something that you wanted schedule-wise?
I think we played one about every year I was here. I think we played I think we played Furman and Wofford and Citadel and South Carolina State. We've played one a year, and I think most teams do that. When I got the job and we looked at our schedule and what we wanted to do from a national standpoint, with our 8 conference games, I want, and then playing South Carolina every year, I wanted to be able to step out of conference and let's go measure up. Let's go see what we got, and then play another mid-major like a Troy or somebody, and then let's. I think it's my experience with those games has been very good, and we've had opportunities to get beat in some of those games. We've had some hang on to your hats with Wofford and Furman. I mean, we've had some tough moments along the way, but I think it's been good. I think it's been good for the fans, good for the kids, and good for the budgets. Because I certainly think it's great for them to have opportunity to get an influx of money into their budgets.
Coaches from around the ACC have defended this league for a long time. 3 teams in the top 10 right now. Does this early start kind of validate what you and other coaches have been saying?
I mean, we're off to a good start, but I think what validates it is how you finish. That's what validates it. It's just like all these rankings. Everybody's just living off last year's headlines. That's the only reason they have the preseason rankings. Nobody knows. Nobody knows what anybody's got. Everybody leaves, new players, all that. You think you know, but you don't know. Just look at the preseason rankings from the last several years. All those teams that were in the top 10 that didn't finish in the top 25. Teams that weren't in the top 25 that finished in the top 10. It's such baloney, all right? It really is. Who the heck knows what anybody is right now? Validation comes with performance. That's when it's validated. All right, we're not going to go run a ACC flag out there. Ooh, we got 3 teams in the top 10 in week 2. Hallelujah, we're the greatest ever. Let's just see where we are in December and January. I know we're a great league. I don't need anybody to have rankings to know that how hard it is to play in this league. I know what's in this league. I know what's been in this league. The NFL knows what's been in this league. A lot of them teams outside this league know what's in this league because just look at the matchups, look at the head-to-heads over the last several years, 3, 4, 5 years. So I don't need rankings to validate any of that stuff to me. But maybe from a national perspective, you look at the quarterback play in this league. I don't know if there's a better league out there with the quarterbacks that we got in this league. There's some freak shows going on in this league. There's some dudes that make you hold your breath, and we got one of them. I think that's probably the biggest thing. When you got great quarterback play, you usually got a chance. When you got talent, and there's a lot of talent in this league, and a lot of consistency. We've had that several years. We've been having 9, 10, 11 teams go to bowl games. You got to compete every single week in this deal. But at the end of the day, it's all how you finish, really.
Hunter Renfro's really on a roll. Is he the kind of guy who has the wherewithal to come back seamlessly 5 games from now?
Oh, yeah, he'll be all right. He'll be fine. He'll be fine.
So Ben Boulware out for sure.
Well, he's lobbying. I went to the State House one time, and I've never seen such. I didn't know that lobbyists were like real people. I didn't really understand the concept of that. But they really do hang out in the lobby, and that's kind of what Ben Boulware is right now. He's a lobbyist. So I don't know. We'll see. But probably my plan is to not play him. But he's really, he's back. He's lobbying hard, trying to show his great back pedal and how good he feels. And there's nothing wrong with him. And this is bull. So, and I love that. I love that about Ben. But our next goal is to win the division, and hopefully we can get it done without him this week. But right now, I'd say we'll probably dress him, and if we got to have him, we'll play him. We got to do whatever we got to do to win the game. It might come down to an onside kick. Hold on to your hat, and if it does, we got to do whatever we got to do to win the game. And but if we can hold him, that will be the ideal situation for us. But he's doing good. No, we're not practicing him. He's just rehabbing, strengthening.
Do you plan on Jalen starting? And
Jalen will start at will. He's our kind of next man up at every spot, to be honest with you. He's our putty guy. Really does a great job. He's the one guy that can play Sam, Mike, and Will pretty seamlessly. So he and JD will man that spot.
Coach, any thoughts on the NCAA pulling its championship events out of North Carolina due to the controversial law in the ACC championship being debated to be pulled out of the state next?
Tim just told me about that last night during my radio show, so I hadn't really read anything about it or other than what he said. But I mean, I don't have any thoughts other than I hope we're in the championship and we'll go to Pluto and play wherever. It don't matter. Just tell us where it's at and we'll go play. It's really all that matters. Just tell us where to show up. We'll show up. Hopefully everybody can go to the bathroom while they're there. I mean, it don't matter. Where's the game?
Catching balls, what are the things y'all need to do to get your tempo to your desired level?
Catch balls. Execute the plays that are there, the layups. We got a basketball coach in the house. You know, we're a fast-paced basketball team here, and we got a bunch of wide open layups, and you miss them, you're clanking them. Well, what does that do? That ain't good. I mean, it just affects everything. Your rhythm now, it's like everything's a three-pointer. You know, now everything's third and long. You know, it's just frustrating. We just need to execute.
Since we pulled off the interstate for a moment, would you discipline one of your players if he chose not to stand for the national anthem?
Would I discipline one of my players? Well, we don't really have the national anthem, but I would just say that I don't think that no, I wouldn't discipline my player for that. I think everybody has a right to express themselves, you know, in that regard. But I don't think it's good to be a distraction to your team. I don't think it's good to use the team as the platform. I totally disagree with that. You know, nobody's really asked me about Kaepernick or whatever, but you know, I totally disagree with that. You know, not his protest, but I just think there's a right way to do things, and I don't think two wrongs make a right. Never have, never will. And I think that it just creates more divisiveness, more division. It's sad to me to see what's going on in this country. I think it creates more division. I think there's a better way. How about, you know, he called press conference, express your feelings. Everybody will show up, talk about it, express yourself, go and be a part of things and protest them and do. Well, that's great. I mean, I think everybody has that right, and I certainly respect that. But I just think that this just creates more division, and you know, that's what I hate to see, and I hate to see what's going on in our country. You know, I really do, because I think this is a good world. I think this is a great country. It's just that things get painted with a broad brush around in this world these days. There's a lot of good. There's more good than bad in this world. And I think, you know, you look at, I think one of the greatest leaders this world has ever seen was Martin Luther King. I don't know that there's ever been a better man or better leader. And, you know, to me, he changed the world. He changed the world through love in the face of hate. He changed the world through peace in the face of violence. He changed the world through education in the face of ignorance. And he changed the world through Jesus. And boy, that's politically incorrect. But that's what he did. And it's amazing when we don't learn from our past, you know, how you can repeat your mistakes. And, and then, you know, the Bible says the two greatest commandments, if we all live by those, be a lot of problems would go away. You know, it says, love the Lord with all your heart, all your mind, and all your soul. And the second one is love your neighbor as you love yourself. It doesn't say love your neighbor if they're the same religion. It doesn't say love your neighbor if they're the same color as you. It doesn't say love your neighbor if they pull for the same team as you. It doesn't say love your neighbor if they're the same gender as you or whatever. Love your neighbor if they have the same sexuality as you. It just says love your neighbor as you love yourself. If we all live by that in this country, we wouldn't have near the problems that we have. You know, that's just my opinion. But I've never felt like that two wrongs make a right. And I think that although his intention is good, and I just think the method is not. My opinion. I'm entitled to that, just like everybody else. But as far as disciplining my player, no. I think, again, everybody has to. Only thing I'm going to discipline my player for is things within this team and the team rules and those type of things, holding everybody accountable to the standard. If guys want to go be a part of things, I just think they should do it on their own time and outside of the team framework. That's just my opinion. But I think there's a lot of good in this world. You know, my brother is a retired police officer 30 years and worked the night shift his entire life. And there's a lot of good police officers. There's thousands of perfect traffic stops, a lot of good men, a lot of good women, but those don't get the stories. But there's some bad ones too. There's some criminals that wear badges. Guess what? There's some criminals that work in the media. There's some criminals that are football coaches. There's some criminals that are politicians. There are criminals that work in churches. I think we have a sin problem in the world. That's what I think. It's so easy to say we have a race problem. It's so easy. No, we got a sin problem. That's just my opinion. That's Dabo's opinion. And I think the answer to our problems is exactly where they were for Martin Luther King when he changed the world. Love, peace, education, tolerance of others, Jesus. That's what I think. And I think a lot of the things in this world and everything that's so bad and this world's falling apart, you know, some of these people need to move to another country. Some of them need to move to another country. I think that I think a lot of things in this world were only a dream for Martin Luther King. Not a one-term, but a two-term African-American president. And this is a terrible country. That was a dream for Martin Luther King. I got interracial marriages. I go to a church that's an interracial church. Those were only dreams for Martin Luther King. Black head coaches, black quarterbacks at places like Georgia and Alabama and Clemson, when Martin Luther King that was just a dream. Just a dream. Black CEOs, NBA owners, you name it. Unbelievable. Now, does that mean that there's not still problems? Yes. Where there's people, whether they're black, green, yellow, orange, white, there is going to be sin, greed, hate, jealousy, deceitfulness. There's going to be that. That's always going to be there. Always will be there. Always. But attitude, work ethic, love, respect for others, that doesn't know any color. That's what I love about football. That's what I love about the game. That's what I love about it.
Ed opened the door. There's high school players in Kentucky, Illinois, and Nebraska that are not standing during the national anthem. My opinion is maybe they don't realize they're just trying to
I think you know, everybody wants to be a part of something, and I think that has the opposite effect. Again, I just think that there's a better way to address legitimate concerns that people have, legitimate issues that need to be talked about and discussed, and how do you improve and hold people accountable for wrongful acts, period. Sin is sin. Wrong is wrong. I don't care who's doing it. That's what I try to teach these guys. Wrong is wrong. I don't care if everybody's doing it. And right is right. I don't care if nobody's doing it. Let's do what's right. But I think that, again, it's the way you do things. You know, there's a right way to do it. And I think, again, although the intent is very sincere and very good, because there are problems and there needs to be awareness and there needs to be, I just think that method just creates more divisiveness, because this is a wonderful country. It's a wonderful country. Not without problems, not without issues, because where there's people, there will always be that. But, you know, I don't think that's the right way. I really don't. One guy's opinion. What the heck do I know?
When there was an issue on campus in the last year, some of your guys interjected themselves quietly into that.
No, some of them went over there, and that's the right way to do that. Yeah, you want to be a part of something, go be a part of it. Go be a part of it. You know, I think those are positive things. There's positive ways to do those type of things. And everybody's right. And I have total respect for Kaepernick and him wanting to do that. Hey, that's his right. That's his right. I just don't agree with his method of how he's going about it. I think it just creates a bigger divide.
Deshaun said yesterday that he picked a word out.
Well, we got nothing to talk about today, do we? Y'all got me preaching in here. I don't know where I get on that.
That yesterday he picked out a word with you at the beginning of the season, and his word was patient. What's the significance of that word in terms of, you know, heading into this weekend?
You know what my word is? Love. Maybe that's why, I guess, you asked that question. That's my word, love. Love. You said his word is patient. He lost his patience Saturday. So let's focus on that word. Be patient. Don't let that affect you. You affect that. All right? I think it's a great word for him.
How do we keep players? We've seen this with Johnny Manziel when he was at Texas A&M, Jadeveon Clowney when he was at South Carolina. I think with Deshaun as well, just this super over hype of these guys who maybe aren't capable of.
All of y'all go out of business. All of y'all go out of business. That's how you keep from it. Everybody everybody goes out of business. Internet shuts down. Social media goes away. We go back to 1950. There's 3 channels on TV. There's one beat writer that comes and covers practice. You get a weekly article. What's that? Coaches are paid 30 grand, whatever. I'd still be coaching. I didn't get into coaching to make money.
Is there a way to prepare a player for that?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
How do you do that?
We got lots of ways that we do that. You know, it's what we do as coaches. Lots of ways. I'm not going to lay out because that's an everyday thing. It's in everything that you do. It's every meeting that you have. It's every segment meeting. It's every practice. It's every post-practice. It's every conflict. It's every issue that has to be resolved. It's other things that happen where you teach. You know, so there's lots of ways that you do that. But the biggest thing is you just embrace it. It's the way it is.
Did that ever flash through your
I'm
mind?
glad it's that way. I mean, heck. I mean, we could be somewhere where nobody gave a darn. Nobody showed up. Nobody asked you questions. Nobody asked anything. It's just the way it is. I'm glad to be at a place where, man, people are interested in what I wear. People are interested in, you know, the dumbest things because it's at Clemson. I think that's great. That means that man, we're one of those programs out there that's pretty relevant.
You had an issue with a quarterback a few years ago who kind of lost his way mentally and let the height kind of swallow him.
Yeah,
Did that-
totally different situation, though.
did that cross your mind, though?
No. Are you kidding me? Totally different situation. Not even in the same realm. You guys are, y'all are, that's a laughable question to me. I mean, we've played 2 games and we're 2-0 and a win at Auburn at 8 o'clock. How about that 3-minute and 20-second drive? Because of our ineptness at the end of that game, how we screwed that up, nobody talks about what that offense did with 3 minutes and 20 seconds, take the ball in minus 25 and go right down the field and should have been over. Nobody talks about that. And so now I'm getting questions about, it's bizarre. We're 2-0, and we got the best quarterback in the country. That's a completely different situation. That was a football team that had never had success, that had 40 freshmen on the roster. And now all of a sudden everybody's fat and happy at 8-0. This team here, these guys, they've been through this. They know what it takes. This isn't their first rodeo. Despite what people want to write out there, this isn't their first rodeo. These guys have won a bunch of games. They ain't done nothing but win. And they won a bunch of close games too. I think they're 12-2 in the last, what is it?
Since 2001.
What is it?
13.
13-2 in games by 7 points or less. The only 2 losses. Only 2. At Florida State in overtime, national championship game. We can't have what both ways?
You can't have it both ways. You can't talk about this team in the context of this season, and it's only this season, and they're going to get better.
I'm talking about this quarterback.
Okay.
I'm talking about this quarterback. That's what you asked me about.
Into 2 games, and what he did, that's.
No, we played 2 games, and then we got 12 drop balls, 4 touchdowns, another touchdown that we just throw down on the ground. All right? Hunt's 8 drops Saturday for 172 yards. Does he got some things? Yeah, he's got some things he got. But if we just fix some things, I'm not getting this question. That's all I'm saying. And now I'm getting questions about, is he overwhelmed like a quarterback? Give me a break. That's all I'm saying. It's laughable.
Anything else?
In what ways have you seen Deion Kane grow from where he was last year to where he is now?
Well, I saw him have an incredible camp, but he's not played well in 2 games. So I need to see him take practice to the game field and be who he is. He can be as good a receiver as there is in the country, as good as we've had come through here, if he gets his focus where it needs to be.
Have you seen him approach things differently as a person?
Yeah, he's been awesome. He's been great. He's been great.
Thank you very much.
Great being with y'all today.